Well, I think we should get started. Okay, so we've done our housekeeping and we got all the, again, closed caption, making sure that your mute button is on. And when their time comes available for us to ask questions, you can unmute yourself. The chat is also available as well. And then our slides and recording will be available. All right. So, good afternoon or morning, depending on where you are. And welcome and thank you for joining us for today's webinar titled Marketing and Recruiting Strategies for Early Childhood Registered Apprenticeship Programs. We are excited to have you with us as we explore tools and tactics that can help strengthen and grow your registered apprenticeship program by reaching the right people with the right message. So, my name is Marion Grant Whitlock, and I serve as the Early Childhood Education Liaison with the Early Childhood Workforce Connector. I am totally thrilled to be here with you today alongside two incredible colleagues who bring their own unique expertise to this conversation. First, I would like to introduce Kimberly Ferris, our Registered Apprenticeship and State Liaison. Kimberly works closely with partners and state leaders across the country to support the development and sustainability of registered apprenticeship programs in early childhood education. So welcome. Also joining us is Andrea Ahus, our communications specialist. Andrea plays a key role in helping programs like yours build strong messaging, tell your stories, and connect the audiences that matter most through thoughtful communication and branding strategies. Together, we will be walking through a range of ideas and resources you can use to attract and engage and retain participants in your program. Whether you are just getting started or looking to enhance your current efforts, we encourage you to actively participate, ask questions, and share what you are working on currently along the way. Let's get started. So our agenda, I told you, was slam packed. Now that we have introduced the team, I would like to take just a moment to walk you through today's agenda so you know what to expect during our time together. We will begin with a brief background of early childhood education registered apprenticeship programs, highlighting how they are helping to grow and professionalize this workforce and where marketing and recruitment fit into that bigger picture. Next, we will move into marketing and recruitment 101, where we will break down the basics and share foundational strategies that can help you attract both apprentices and employer partners. From there, we will dive into the key components of an effective marketing approach, including messaging, audience targeting, platforms, and storytelling. After that, we will have the pleasure of hearing from two of our partners in Maryland and Missouri who will share some of their on-the-ground experiences and lessons learned in marketing and recruitment for their registered apprenticeship programs. We will then recommend some helpful resources you can use to support your marketing and recruitment efforts, whether you are building your strategy from scratch or refining what is already in place. Next, we will talk about the support and technical assistance offered by the team at ECWC, including how we partner with you to create and enhance your materials and amplify your outreach. And finally, we will wrap up with a Q&A session where you are invited to share your questions, experiences, ideas, so we can learn from one another. We are looking forward to this conversation. So let's go ahead and get started. So, who is the Early Childhood Workforce Connector, or better known as ECWC? We are an early childhood education registered apprenticeship industry intermediary funded by the U.S. Department of Labor. ECWC promotes developing, launching, and expanding registered apprenticeship programs to support and sustain a well-qualified and well-compensated early childhood education workforce. ECE registered apprenticeship programs with high quality and supportive early childhood education program employers lift the entire community and the local workforce. A strong, inclusive, and robust early childhood ecosystem contributes to the health and well-being of young children and their families, as well as the broader economy. As a U.S. Department of Labor funded early childhood education intermediary, ECWC provides customized technical assistance, including help with curriculum development, outreach and recruitment, mentor training, accessing available funding, and much, much more. So next, of course, we have questions. There's an audience poll. How would you rate your knowledge of registered apprenticeship marketing and recruitment strategies? And you should be seeing that poll being launched in a few. Expert, I understand and use advanced strategies. Proficient, I understand the basics. Or exploring, eager to learn more. Okay, just take your time. We're getting results in quickly. All right. So it looks like we have about half of our responses in right now. Oh, almost there. Take your time. How would you rate your knowledge of registered apprenticeship marketing and recruitment strategies? And I know that poll is going to be closing soon. So right now, it looks like we're kind of stopped with getting our responses. So right now it looks like we have about 21% expert, 46% proficient. I understand the basics, and exploring. I am eager to learn more. All right. And Andrea, I just want to make sure you can give me a thumbs up to make sure that poll has closed, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, it's closed.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So next, we have another poll. We have a lot of questions. Currently, how much of a role does marketing play in your program recruitment strategies? A major role. It's essential for growth. A moderate role. We do some. Or not at all yet. There's 3 choices there. I don't know why I thought that was an ABC connection there, but it's okay. Currently, how much of your role does marketing play in your program recruitment strategy? And we're getting responses coming on in. All right. All right. And I can see about right now, there's about does marketing play in your program recruitment strategies? A major role, 55%. A moderate role, we're at 30%, and not at all yet is at 15%. So, great. Awesome. All right. All right, we're going to move on and we're going to learn a lot of things today. So the first part we're going to learn about is early child registered apprenticeship. So we're going to move on. And ECE registered apprenticeship programs are a US DOL approved workforce development model that includes on-the-job training and classroom instruction that leads to progressive wage increases and nationally recognized credentials. ECE programs are designed to help early childhood educators flourish by providing high quality, hands-on learning opportunities. These programs not only support the growth and development of individual educators, but also help to enrich the lives of children, families, and the entire community. By expanding access to structured career pathways, ECE registered apprenticeship programs are increasing the workforce of skilled childcare professionals, which is essential for enhancing access to high quality childcare across the country. Now, Where does marketing come in? Marketing and recruitment efforts raise awareness of the program, engaging new apprentices, employer partners, education providers, and community partners and funders. Marketing plays a key role in raising awareness about these opportunities, whether you are recruiting apprentices, engaging new employer partners, or building support within your community. It is about telling the story of ECERA in a way that connects with people's values, their goals, their voices, and needs, and encourages them to get involved. Now that you have a little bit of background on early childhood registered apprenticeship programs, I will pass the baton over to Kimberly to talk about the importance of marketing and recruitment. Passing it over to you, Kimberly.
Thank you so much, Marian. Hello, everybody. As Marian said, I'm Kimberly Ferris with the Early Childhood Workforce Connector, and I'm the Registered Apprenticeship and State Liaison. To kick my portion off today, I'd like to start with what is marketing? And so to do that, marketing is essential to the success of registered apprenticeship programs. It's how programs, as Marian said, raise awareness and build relationships with both employers, the community partners, program funders, and potential apprentices. Paramount to marketing is outreach, and that starts with tailored messaging that resonates with your specific audience. It also includes consistent branding so that they know your name and your colors, and it builds that recognition and that trust for your program, as well as showcasing success stories that highlight the impact of your registered apprenticeship program for the employers, apprentices, as well as the communities and the families that you serve. Most importantly, marketing should focus on equal employment opportunity for all. Through these efforts, it's not just promoting a program. Marketing is opening doors and building pathways to incredible careers in early childhood education. Marketing and recruitment are essential to program success and sustainability. This begins with education on starting with what is a registered apprenticeship program and what are the benefits for the program for everybody involved. Whether you're recruiting apprentices, new employers to join your program, partners to support your program, effective marketing is essential. This increases the recognition and credibility of your program, positioning your registered apprenticeship program as a trusted, reputable source for developing high-quality early childhood professionals. In your efforts, highlight the advantage of employer engagement and community support for your program. This increases program participation for apprentices, employers, and community partners. Ongoing marketing and recruitment efforts promote program sustainability through a continuous pipeline of apprentices, employers, and supporters and funders for your registered apprenticeship program. Together, these strategies help build a strong pipeline of skilled early childhood education professionals and foster meaningful partnerships that strengthen early childhood education across your communities. So to do that, effective marketing can incorporate a variety of different types of marketing to reach different audiences. So first on there, you see we have traditional marketing. That can include things like printed flyers or ads that can be effective for reaching community members. Flyers could be posted at public community spaces like the local library, a healthcare center, the gym, kids' clothing stores, a career office, or even in grocery shops in your neighborhood. Printed ads can be seen perhaps in a local newspaper or even a community publication to get the word out about your program. Then there's digital marketing. This is a key tool for expanding outreach. Through digital ads, targeted emails, and social media platforms, we can engage a wide audience that utilizes these platforms. For instance, perhaps you could be featured on a monthly newsletter that is distributed through your local CCR&R or AEYC chapter. Then there's events like conferences, career fairs, and webinars. These provide direct opportunities to connect with potential partners and apprentices. This is an opportunity to answer questions in real time and build stronger relationships across your networks. And lastly, we have word of mouth. And I think that this is one of the most powerful types of marketing. In many cases, people hear about registered apprenticeship opportunities through personal connections, whether it's a family member, a neighbor, a church member, or a coworker. When employers, apprentices, or community members share their positive experience with your program, it builds real trust and creates an authentic interest for the program. These referrals utilize the relationships and networks that already exist within the communities that you are serving. So using a mix of these different types of marketing can help ensure that you're reaching people where they are and educating employers, apprentices, and supporters about your program. Effective marketing is essential for attracting the people and partners who will strengthen your program. So this includes reaching professionals and career seekers, community partners, funders, employers, apprentices, all that we just talked about, as well as the decision makers and policy makers who can support and elevate your program's impact. So the most important component of marketing is identifying your target audience. Understanding who you are speaking to gives the opportunity to tailor your message and platform effectively. A central value that should be represented in your marketing is ensuring that you demonstrate a commitment to equal opportunity for all. This means using a diverse range of tools and materials and ensuring your content reflects the communities and families you serve, as well as remaining compliant with Equal Employment Opportunity, or EEO, guidelines, as well as state registered apprenticeship regulations. So next, we need a clear goal and objective. Whether your focus is apprentice recruitment, raising awareness about the benefits of your program, or gathering new funding and supporters, your marketing effort should always align with measurable outcomes as well as timelines. For instance, if you're recruiting for your next cohort of apprentices, it's probably time to start that marketing effort a couple months in advance to ensure that you have a full cohort by program launch. To support these goals, content creation is essential. This includes a large range of materials and mediums like blog posts that highlight apprentice success stories, infographics like you probably saw ours yesterday for National Apprenticeship Day, as well as short form videos or podcasts that can showcase your program impact. So each piece of content should reflect your program values, speak directly to the target audience, as well as have a call to action. And that call to action can be visiting the program website, signing up for an info session, or even applying to your program. When all of these key components come together, you increase program awareness and engagement within the communities you serve. So now let's shift to one of the most important components of marketing, and that's your messaging. In your messaging, it is important to remember that marketing and recruitment isn't just about finding the best person. It's about making sure that every qualified individual has the opportunity to become a part of your program. When a program expands its outreach and removes barriers, you are strengthening the entire program. Creating opportunities for all means tapping into talents and experiences that are already out there and making sure everyone feels welcome to lead and support the apprentices where they are. Your message matters when it comes to marketing. Be sure that you're using welcoming language in your messaging. Use easy to understand language that communicates effectively. For instance, instead of listing paid OJT on your program flyers, instead try get paid to learn while making a difference in the lives of young learners, or earn while you learn. Use language that is easy to understand as well as inspiring. Ensure your messaging and imagery reflect the community and families you serve. Let candidates and families know that this program is designed and operating for their benefit with their community needs in mind. A powerful tool in marketing is storytelling. A great way to do this is spotlighting success stories and impact data that demonstrates your program impact. Show off your graduation numbers or completion rates. Share voices from your program from apprentices, mentors, and employers. For recruitment, this allows candidates to envision themselves in the RA journey. And for your funders and supporters, this gives them insight into the real-life impact your program is having. Finally, your message should reflect the mutual return on investment that is central to registered apprenticeship. Apprentices are investing in their future careers, gaining skills and credentials to advance their career trajectory. At the same time, employers are investing in their workforce, growing talent from within and improving the quality of care and education for young learners. When both sides clearly see their role and the shared value in the program, it leads to deeper commitment and stronger buy-in across the board. Clear and effective messaging not only helps you reach your audience, but helps them connect with your program. Strategic partnerships also strengthen your recruitment efforts. This ensures, like I said earlier, a steady pipeline of qualified apprentices, as well as fostering community support for your program. Partnering with community groups, schools, workforce agencies, and other registered apprenticeship programs helps expand your reach. Share flyers at your center, at events, and promote each other's work through newsletters and social media. By tapping into each other's networks, you strengthen visibility and build a broader, more connected ECE community. You cannot be everywhere all at once, but your flyers can. And people talking about your program will be in rooms and spaces that you and your team may not be in. And that gives representation for your program across the board. A great example of this comes from our wonderful partners at Onward Eugene. They were approached by the creators of the Working Together podcast, which is a podcast from the Oregon Workforce Partnership. Holly Marconte, apprenticeship coordinator with Onward Eugene, was featured to discuss the collaboration between workforce boards, employers, and organizations to provide childcare resources to employers. She also discussed the establishment of a registered apprenticeship program to support the ECE workforce development. This podcast helps shine a light on childcare as an essential part of economic development and community well-being, as well as demonstrating the effectiveness of registered apprenticeship program for workforce development. We have a link for that podcast that we'll go ahead and include in the chat and in our follow-up email, but that is just one example of expanding your reach through partnership. In ECE, strong relationships are at the heart of everything that we do, and they can be a powerful tool for expanding your outreach. Encourage people you know to share about your program with their staff, family, community groups, and faith-based organizations to share information about the apprenticeship program within their own circles. By tapping into these trusted networks, you can build greater awareness, strengthen partnerships, and create more pathways for individuals passionate about early childhood education. So with that, I'd love to launch another poll. With this poll, we'd like to learn what type of information do you think is the most impactful to include on marketing and recruitment materials for your ECE registered apprenticeship program? Perfect, we launched that poll. Thank you so much, Andrea. And you'll notice I have a couple different options on there. There's also an other option. And you know, if you click that one, I'm going to want you to put your answer in the chat. Perfect. I see quite a few of those answers coming in. Benefit to early childhood professionals looks like the winner right now. Benefits to the employer and success stories from the program. I love that. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for providing your answer to those polls. Marian, I'm going to pass it back to you.
I'm back. Thank you, Kimberly. Some great information. Now that we have explored the key components of marketing and recruitment, we are excited to shift gears and hear directly from two of our amazing partners who are doing this work on the ground. We are joined by representatives from Maryland and Missouri, two states that have taken unique and thoughtful approaches to marketing and recruitment within their early Dr. Amanda Schwartz has a wide range of experience beginning as a classroom teacher in various ECE environments, including Head Start, childcare, and public pre-K through 5 schools. She has worked in technical assistance, dissemination, and evaluation projects focusing on preparing the early childhood workforce to ensure every child and family has what they need to succeed in life. She is currently the Associate Project Director of the Maryland Early Ed Corps Registered Apprenticeship Project and the Project Director for the Breaking Down Silos Project at the Center of Early Childhood Education and Intervention within the University of Maryland College Park. She is also actively involved in policy and advocacy, working through many of her professional organizations. Heather Carnahan is the apprenticeship coordinator for the Maryland Early Ed Corps Registered Apprenticeship Program, UMD. She has 20 years of experience in public education, both in and out of K through 8 classrooms as a national board certified teacher. She served as a founding member and curriculum developer in the IB primary years programming and expeditionary learning public charter schools, developed innovative and youth engagement curricula at Kaiser Permanente, and supported the Center of Early Childhood Education and Interventions development of preschool curricula as a curriculum writer and specialist. Heather earned her MA in teaching reading at Loyola and administration certificate at McDaniel and an ED specialist in educational leadership and policy from UND. And Stacy Johnson is the YWCA Chief Program Officer, Head Start Director with YWCA St. Louis. She is instrumental in securing and maintaining the current $24 million Early Head Start 5-year project period over the past 3 grant cycles. Before joining the YWCA, Johnson served as assistant program coordinator with the Kansas City School District Head Start program, where she worked for 18 years. Stacy holds a Master's of Ed in Early Childhood Administration and from National Louis University in Illinois, and a BS in Child Development and from Truman State University. Stacy is a member of Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated, Knights of Peter Claver, and the proud mother of 2 daughters. So, with all of that being said, with these wonderful, wonderful presenters, I'm going to start off with Amanda and Heather. I'm going to turn it over to you guys for a brief overview of the Maryland Early Ed Corps.
Thank you so much. We are so happy to be here. We've had quite a journey over the years, and we've been really, really lucky to be partnered with ECWC this whole time. They have held our hands through the process. And actually, as Kimberly was talking, I thought about all those early marketing strategies that we've tried. So just quickly, we are a CDA registered apprenticeship in the state of Maryland. Our apprentices come from all over the state. We've focused on specific geographic areas simply because that is where the demand was. But they are community members. We started the first year, Maryland Rebuild was a state-funded grant that funded us to help meet the blueprint for Maryland's future. That's the guiding principles for our state in education in pre-K through 12. And really what we were trying to address there was the need for early childhood educators within the state after COVID. We were trying to get new people through the door. And so our recruitment efforts there were really, it's interesting. I was thinking about, Kimberly talked about a podcast with the state workforce agency, and one of our previous staff was on a podcast with the city of Baltimore, the mayor's office of economic development, their workforce agency. She joined a podcast with them and recruited a lot of interest for our program from the city of Baltimore. In fact, we still have a wait list from all of those efforts. We sort of hit the world with lots of flyers. We put them up in libraries, we put them up in the workforce areas, we put them up in family centers and Head Start programs. We have something in the state that's called the Judy Center, and this is sort of like Head Start in Maryland. And our Judy Center partners helped us do recruitment through their back to school activities and through their family engagement efforts. And we handed out flyers and talked to anybody who would talk to us. That first group ended up being 22 who graduated. They were from all over Maryland. We ended up running 2 cohorts in Baltimore City because I think the marketing efforts we made there really resonated for a lot of people. We also had brand ambassadors in that first year. We recruited people who really believed in the project, and they ended up helping us later on, which I'll tell you about. So we launched these cohorts, we connected with ECWC that first year, and we became a registered apprenticeship program. And when we redesigned the program, we always have had 160 hours of coursework. But what we added to that, we shifted from a 4-month on-the-job training experience to a year-long on-the-job training program. And so when we became a registered apprenticeship program, our ambassadors from early on, 2 of the programs that signed on first with us said, we want to be your employer partners. And we launched 2 cohorts of the registered apprenticeship in June of 2023. Then we also got additional funding from MSDE. Our Maryland Rebuilds grant ended and Breaking Down Silos started, and that project brought us 2 additional cohorts, which looked very different. These are cohorts of half of them are public school and half of them are community-based, because we're trying to break down the silos in early childhood education between community-based childcare and the public school pre-K programs. We also have a very deep focus on inclusion. And so we found that there were, because in our blueprint in the state, pre-K teachers need to have, assistant teachers in pre-K need to have their CDA. So we found that there was a huge demand for participation in that program, and we're really excited to see 35 of our registered apprentices we're hoping will be graduating in June. They all are finishing up their portfolios and scheduling their CDA visits, and they're getting ready for the next steps. Yeah, we're really, really excited. But we recruited them through 2 different methods. We recruited them through direct communication from their central offices, and we recruited a bunch of people from the same strategies that we used for Maryland Rebuilds. A lot of the people we recruited as individuals were people who did not have jobs yet, and so we were trying to line them up with programs that needed staff. And so we were able to place several apprentices in that way. But most of the people in our Breaking Down Silos grant were were existing staff in their programs. Next slide, please. One of the things that we have done a lot in our recruitment and our marketing strategies is let people know that the CDA is an entry-level credential. We want all of our apprentices to understand that this is the beginning. They can just remain in the CDA as assistant teachers or teachers in childcare programs, or they can go on and get further degrees. And so we have been working diligently to think about how we can articulate our project and the work they do with us into an associate's degree, bachelor degree, or a graduate degree. We also want them to know that they have the potential to be a family service worker or a home visitor or any number of other next steps if that's what they want. And we have several of our current folks interested in progressing in their degrees. So we're really excited about that. But that is one of the things that we always say as we recruit, that there are a multitude of opportunities at your fingertips once you get that CDA. It is just the beginning for many. Okay, next slide, and I'll let Heather jump in.
Hi, well, I'm Heather. I work with Amanda, and I actually came onto the project this past year. So Amanda talked to you a lot about where we came from, how we got to where we are. This year, we have sat down together to talk a lot about the lessons we've learned and what we want to do moving forward. So we thought we'd share a few of those with you. Probably the biggest thing we've learned is that the recruitment process is holistic. It really has to include building an understanding of where our apprentices are coming from. So we think a lot about their context, and that can mean a lot of different things. Are they working in a public school? Are they working in a community-based school? Are they a high school student? Are they an adult learner? Is this potentially their first coursework experience that they might need some more support in accessing coursework? Or are they coming to us with an advanced degree where this is kind of, the coursework is old news, but they need help with some other areas? Some of the pieces of context that are maybe harder to understand are the less tangible differences in our apprentices. So when we think about learners and how many differences learners come to us in the classroom with, our learners, our apprentices come with different capabilities. They have different availability in their schedules. They have different confidence levels, different motivations. So we really have to think about when we're recruiting, how do we understand those specific individual needs that will guide all of our responses once they're enrolled? I won't give an example there because I think we're lower on time, but it also sometimes, like Amanda said, means that we're supporting employment. So sometimes we have apprentices who are really excited about our program, but they're not matched up with an employer yet. That's a harder find, but it's really rewarding when you can find someone a job and the program. That's a really worthwhile avenue. And then the second one I have here is that recruitment really has to involve all of our stakeholders. So we have to think about our recruitment as building a community that deeply cares about the success of our paraprofessionals. It's not just trying to get apprentices in the doorway. It's getting those apprentices excited about that career path that Amanda mentioned, that they can grow their careers from this seed. It's getting our families and communities, the community members, excited about how this apprentice's growth is going to enrich instruction for their children. It's getting those directors, those principals excited about how their staff capability is going to grow, how they can fill vacancies. And then on a bigger scale, it's also getting your funders and sponsors excited about what you can do for their community. Trying to get them excited about that ongoing program level growth. So it's community building as much as it is sending out a flyer. So in that same vein, that last bullet point I threw there is that recruitment can't be a one-time push. When we're building a community, it has to continuously build momentum. So how do we continue to get this whole community excited about the program? How do we keep them excited? An example here is we might recruit an apprentice and ask if they have colleagues or friends who are interested. There's a lot of research that suggests that having a friend that you work with keeps you in that workplace. And the same is true in an apprenticeship program. When you have a friend or someone that you trust in that program, you're more likely to stick with it. We also do a lot of regular check-ins with our community partners. And we try and support our partners as much as we can. So if they need some assistance with problem solving, idea sharing, professional development, that's why we're here today, right? This is a great opportunity to give back to the ECE community and really kind of be not just a taker, but a giver when it comes to the community partners who are supporting your program. And then when we're talking about that word of mouth that Kimberly mentioned earlier, we really try and focus on how to grow that word of mouth through doing a really solid, good job. So when we think back to all of that information we collected in the beginning about the context of our apprentices, when we think about how they really are individuals with very individual specific needs, we try and do our best to address all of those, to support them in all of those ways so that not only are they successful in the program, but they're so successful that they tell everyone they know. And their lead teachers brag about them and they brag about the program. Their schools tell the other schools in their networks. And it helps to build that community and that excitement about who we are at EdCore and what we're doing there.
I will add one last thing, which is before you jump to the next. We have been fortunate enough to work with with several centers that are hoping to expand, and they've asked us to come back to train their new staff and to help recruit their new staff. So word of mouth is everything, and a really positive reputation is gold. That's really what it is. Sorry, thank you.
Right,
Hello.
Thank you. Here we go, Stacy.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Stacy Johnson, and I am a part of the YWCA Metro St. Louis. And just wanted to share a little bit with you about how we got on this journey of apprenticeship, because, we are a Head Start program providing services in the St. Louis metro area. And so we're not very familiar with apprenticeships, well, not in early childhood at all. And so like most childcare providers, we found ourselves without staff. And we were trying to figure out how can we build our own. So years ago, we had created what was called the Substitute Teacher Program. It was a real quick training for parents on child development so that they could become substitutes in the classroom working when we had staff that may be out or they were in training and or you needed a helping hand. So we were able to provide that support. So what we decided to do was figure out, well, how can we reinstate this, but in a different kind of way that will allow the person to actually receive a CDA. And so that was really our initial goal, was self-preservation and at the same time giving something to someone who may be interested in early care and education. So as we continued on, we then developed our curriculum and we got everything launched, and we were moving forward as of June of 2022. With that, I will say, I think our first 3 applicants, I will say, made an application. We were in the new hire process. And so we were expecting them to come in to start training. And what we found out was that, well, only one showed up and the other 2 did not. So when I asked, well, what happened? Well, they didn't have a ride. Someone else had not finished the application. And so we decided, just let's look at how we do this and how we approach this in a very different way. Because these are people that may be coming to us. Of course, we know they don't have degrees and they may have not had any secondary education or any of that, but apparently they need some help and support. So in doing that, we reached out to our program that we have on the other side, which is called CREED, which is the Career Readiness and Empowerment and Economic Development Program. And they were able to help us with wraparound services. So we were able to Uber people to our training site, help them make application. If they needed support with any other type of resources, then we were able to provide that. And that was all in a way to ensure that if they were really interested in completing the apprenticeship program, that we could help them with that success. I, at the time, also was a part of the state's Office of Childhood's Early Childhood Workforce Development Advisory Council. And it was during that time that I learned about some funding that was available for early childhood workforce and helping people get their CDAs. And so, of course, I raised my hand and I said, me, I do that. We're doing that internally. And so I then learned, well, in order to receive those funds, you have to be a registered apprentice. So then I was on my way to doing that research. I Googled it, found Department of Labor. It had a questionnaire in there. I filled out the questionnaire. And then I said, okay, it said, bing, 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 you're a winner. So I said, no, I'll come back to that, application, finish everything out to get to the next level. And I then got a call that next week from someone in the Department of Labor who ended up being my apprenticeship support person. And when he called, he said, look, I can help you with the application, get through the process. And because we had everything already developed, unbeknownst to me, we were able to get that apprenticeship in a week. And so we were then off and running. And so with that, we were then, because all these relationships I'm developing, we were offered an opportunity to become a pilot, participate in a pilot project for ECE apprenticeship for the CDA. And so once we got that, then we began the process of opening beyond our doors to start partnering with our partners that we contract with, as well as local childcare providers out in the community. So we were really up and running and on our way by July of 2023. So that's pretty much an outline of where we started and how we got where we are at. Well, once we got everything going, then we realized, well, we have to have a way to reach people. And so, of course, one of the things that we decided to do was, one, develop a flyer. we created a flyer that would then tell the end user what it is we're offering, what it's all about, and how they can connect with us in order to make application. Because this is an OJT, and they start out with us as we are also a sponsor and an employer. So they would start out with us, and we would take them through the full process. So we did old school door knocking in the beginning. We created the flyer, and I sent my staff out, and we canvassed the whole St. Louis City and St. Louis County, putting out this information. We utilized our One Call Now emergency system to get the information out into our parents and to our staff. And then our centers, every time we had orientation, it became a part of the announcement that this was an opportunity for anyone that may be interested in learning more about how to care for children and to earn that CDA. Well, through all of these interactions, then I had an opportunity, I was invited to do a conference on and introduce our program to other workforce development providers. And so, being one of the first and probably one of the few programs that offer early childhood workforce development credentialing, we were asked to come and participate. And through that, we then created this presentation. And so then this became the presentation that then we continue to offer. We offered this at the YWCA USA conference, and so forth. And so this is just giving individuals an opportunity to understand our journey and what we're offering applicants when they walk in the door. And so it just outlines the path. And we kind of created that as they talk, it was talked about earlier about your logos and your color. And so this Successful Pathways logo is registered, trademarked to the YWCA itself. So, and then in addition to that, then in order to make sure that we could recruit as many people as possible, then through these relationships we were developing, we were able to share information to the local community colleges as well as our some of the universities in our area. We utilized our job centers, which is the St. Louis Development Corp as well as Slate. And then, of course, the relationships that we were able to develop, not only with the Department of Labor, but also with the state of Missouri's Department of Higher Education Workforce Development. And I will tell you that entity right there is where I found out so much information about workforce and the various grant opportunities and funding opportunities and other ways to reach out. And how do you sign your apprenticeship up to the state registry so people in your state can just reach out to you directly and say, hey, we're interested in this partnership or getting an apprenticeship through your program and those type of things. So these are just a few of the types of partnerships you can form in your community that will allow you to move your program forward.
Thank you so much, Stacy. This is great information. Also, thank you, Amanda and Heather. This is wonderful information. And as I said, we will pass on these slides. I mean, we have a wealth of knowledge that was shared with recruitment and marketing and getting all the pieces in. So they provided information from whatever end that you're in. You're just entering, you have that experience. So I'm very grateful that you all have shared this information with us, and we'll get the slides and the recordings out to you. So we are going to move. I think we have about 3 more minutes in there. So I am wanting to know, Andrea, did you want to cover anything, or is it okay that we just jump to some questions, if possible?
Yeah, I think there are a few more slides in here that we'll send out. They include some resources that'll be great to have. But I think that, we're really short on time, so I think we can just skip to the end
Okay.
and get some questions in there.
Okay, awesome. So this is the way that you can contact ECWC, our website, our info email, our newsletter, and you can follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and we also have a YouTube channel. And look, ECWC has 66 partners and counting across 27 states plus DC. So that is a wide stretch. We cast that net wide. So I'm just going to open up the floor if you would like to put in questions in the chat or the Q&A section for our partners that appeared on our webinar today. We have a couple of 2 minutes left in our presentation, a wealth of knowledge that was shared, and I would like to thank UWC, UMW, and also YWCA for showing up for us today in Missouri and in Maryland. Are any questions in the chat? Don't see any questions, but you know what? I do have a question or two. So I wanted to ask Stacy, if you are available, well, everyone, what would you say would be a next step for your program? What do you see looking forward for the future? That could either be Amanda or Heather or even Stacy. Now, Stacy, I see you pop back on our screen. What would be your next step?
So actually, my next step is identifying other grant opportunities in the community that could couple with our successful pathways in order to ensure sustainability. And so we are partnering with Arches, who has a contracts for basic practice trainings to childcare providers. So it will serve a twofold for us to be able to continue what we're doing.
Awesome. And Amanda and Heather, what do you see your next steps?
So we are also looking for funding always, but because one of the things I didn't say is we're higher ed, because our model is a delivery to programs, we're always looking to scale in different ways and different directions depending on the needs in the state. So we're paying attention to what people need and shifting and adjusting to those needs. And we're also open to looking into other states to see what they might need and how we could support their needs.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you all for sharing in this wonderful webinar. And like Andrea said earlier, that these slides and also the recording will be available to you, so you can go back and view it. And if there are any questions, please reach out to us by email. And if you have specific questions for Amanda, Heather, or Stacy, you can email us and we'll get that information out to you. But we are right at time at 2:01, but we are right at time, and we really appreciate you, Amanda, Heather, and Stacy, and everyone on the line for attending with us and viewing our webinar today. And we look forward to working with you soon. Thank you all, and have a great day. Great number of participants around the country.